on a night where, in many ways, for the ISC World Tournament, things get turned up a notch or two as we are into the final 8 now in the winners bracket of this 32-team event when it began. And in our matchup tonight, it's the reigning 6-time champion Hill United Chiefs taking on a very solid group, the Kegel Black Knights. Peter Lubardius alongside Blair Setford. And Blair, I really feel in so many ways when we think about moving towards crowning a champion here, this is when it starts to be elevated.
Yeah, this is getting towards the sharp end of the tournament. The mismatches, on paper at least, should be over. And I'm really looking forward to tonight's games, to tomorrow night's games in this Elite 8. And we're going to find out what separates the men from the boys.
I don't think it could be much better in terms of how that was delivered. Here are the lineups. The Hill United Chiefs, one change from what we have seen in the first couple of games. Luciano Biondi is going to go into left field tonight in place of Nick White, and that is a move that allows Edgar Pipolo Lopez to have his bat, Blair, into the lineup against, I think, a very interesting pitcher in 23-year-old Argentine Matias Echeverres. He pitched for Argentina at the recently completed World Cup, and I think maybe even starting tonight as you take a look at a very strong lineup, a couple of USA national teamers in that mix amongst others. This is a fascinating night for me to watch Matias Echeverres to see, is he on the fringe of moving into that elite pitching category?
Well, certainly that's why they included him on the national team, and he starts Shane Boland with a strike.
He does, and then comes inside on the inner portion for another. Delighted to have you with us. As Blair just mentioned, we're into the Elite 8 in the winners bracket. Both these teams are 2-0. Hill United with 9-0 triumphs over both the Junkyard Dogs and the Lacey A's. And the Kegel Black Knights are 2-0 as well, as Boland takes a rise ball high and out of the zone. Shane, the longtime captain of the Chiefs, batting .338 on the year, 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. And so far here at the 2025 ISC World Tournament, he's 1 for 3 with a double. Echeverres has thrown 8 innings in the competition, given up 5 runs, 8 hits, struck out 8, and walked 3. The majority of his work, Blair, came in what turned into a hard-fought 8-5 win over STK yesterday in a game where they led 6-0. Talking about Kegel, only to have STK bring it back to 6-5.
Yeah, that was a very competitive game, and I think Echeverres maybe cut his teeth a little bit in that one too, Peter, because great inside drop ball to sit down Shane Boland here in the outset.
Yeah, that's an impressive out pitch and he's just 23 years of age. 8-time All-World player at this event, Brad Ezekiel, the 38-year-old from Holyrood, Newfoundland. .345 on the year. He's homered 11 times and driven in 28. Those both team-leading numbers for Hill United. He's 3 for 6 here in Mankato with a home run and 3 runs batted in, including a 2 for 4 effort with a home run yesterday against the Lacey A's, and he launches this foul down the left field side. And in so many ways, Blair, offensively, this is the gentleman for me that drives the bus.
Yeah, it's going to revolve around Brad Ezekiel. Lenny Viavazo getting into the lineup is a bonus return for the Chiefs, and it helps to cushion the blow with both Nick Shales and Quentin Bruce unavailable. But if you just consider that a 1-for-2 trade, you're still missing the offense, mostly from Quentin Bruce, if you think of Viavazo and Shales kind of being 1-for-1.
Yeah, those are two big losses, enormous losses. Quentin Bruce, the 29-year-old who joined the Chiefs 1 year ago, was playing maybe as well as he has at the club level ever when he went down at the World Cup with an ankle injury that will obviously keep him out for the rest of this season. So the Chiefs, Ezekiel, like Bolin, works account full versus Matthias Echevers. And the inside drop again, Blair, was the pitch that Echevers throws.
Well, it's working for him right now. You want to keep the ball down, obviously, against a lot of the guys in this Chiefs lineup. Although we saw a couple of guys go down and get balls and 9-iron them out of here a couple of times over the week. Interestingly, the flag is blowing in today. The last couple of days, it's been pointed out in center field.
Ezekiel lifts it high, but well foul, as his quality at-bat continues.
Well, he's seeing a lot of pitches. Shane Bolin saw 6 or 7. Bradley Ezekiel at least at that count here. And if nothing else, they're making Echevers work here in the first inning.
And so critical as the game moves on. On the ground, tough play, and Ezekiel will beat it out on the air to Franco Ortolado.
He sat back on that. It was a hard hit ball, but it was in and out of the glove so quick. That's how hard Bradley Ezekiel hit it.
You're right. Even upon further glance at this, he got caught right in between. And fought it, did well to barehand it so many times. And I know growing up it was taught to me by my longtime baseball coach that once you've knocked it down and it's lying there on the ground, there's no need to grab it with your glove again.
That's right.
Go get it with your bare hand. That was a real thing for him. And has been for me when either I've watched, broadcast, or coached youngsters over the years myself. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Is Lenny Viavazo the batter? Lenny missed almost 6 weeks this year with a hand injury. And Blair, I don't know if you saw much of this. In fact, I know you didn't. In the game against the Lacey A's, and I'm not sure I've ever witnessed this, he was hit 3 times in the game with pitches.
That's
3 times.
Seems unnecessary.
Well, it wasn't fun for him. So Viavazo lifts it high, somewhat deep, drives Logan Boom back. He'll get the ball in quickly, and Ezekiel will slide in safely at second as Viavazo almost gave the Chiefs an early 2-0 advantage.
Yeah, he went and got that pitch. Look how far out that pitch is. Lenny hooks it enough to take it to center field, but had there been a warning track, he'd have just been on it.
And Bruno Matroni, the batter, the 39-year-old, who will be the starting catcher tonight. Luciano Biondi has been in that role in Hill United's first couple of games here. Bruno's batting .318 on the season. He's 21 for 66, 3 doubles, 4 home runs, and 16 runs batted in. He homered in the game, a 3-run shot to get the Chiefs off and rolling in the first inning against the Lacey A's yesterday morning. The 2021 MVP of the ISC World Tournament, a 2-time All-World player. And Echevers again, Argentina to Argentina, works in but misses with a low drop ball. And the Chiefs batters continue to make the youngster work. And he pours in a strike with that 3-0 pitch, and Bruno Matroni taking all the way, giving the signals. A new member of the Hall of Fame.
Jeff Ellsworth.
Indeed.
Elected earlier today. Congratulations to Jeff. The annual board meeting of the ISC directors was today, and we always, amongst other things, get to the Hall of Fame ballots. And Jeff Ellsworth, Ian Fairman, and Lucas Mata, so an Argentina connection.
That's a great trio, Blair.
On the players' side. Former ISC president Dean Oscar, elected as an administrator.
Nice. Well, congratulations to all the class.
Two more. Jeff Rohrer from the Seattle Sea First organization. He was the longtime skipper of that Seattle Sea First team. World champions in, I want to say, 92, 93? No, well, it wasn't 93. It must be 92. And Bruce Tansky, the longtime sponsor of the Gremlins organization.
Well, I know who the champs were in 1993.
Yeah, Toronto Gators.
The Toronto Gators as part of that run in the early 90s.
Yeah, and I think Pencore's in there too. So it must have been.
Well, we'll check it.
Yeah.
You do a wonderful job putting this great little book together every year. So we have the ability to find it. Tony Gonzalez, the batter, hit it hard, but right at second baseman, Damon Creasy, which will end the inning. So the Chiefs force Echeverria to work, but he's able to battle his way out of it. And you know who's coming to the rubber for the Chiefs next? Marco Diaz will set their lineup when we return. You're watching the 2025 ISC World Tournament from Mankato, Minnesota.
Called strike three, the outside corner. They work out of that. Yeah. High in the air, Viavazo comes to get it, and the Chiefs are back to the top of the mountain. The gloves fly. The celebration is underway.
Hill United leaves a couple stranded in the top of the first, and now it's the Kegel Black Knights who will come to bat. And defensively for Hill United, a bit of a change in left field tonight with Luciano Biondi playing in a spot with that Nick White is occupied. Brad Ezekiel, Alan Pecker in the outfield. Blake Hunter, Shane Boland, Lenny Viavazo, Tony Gonzalez, with the veteran Bruno Matroni to catch Marco Diaz. Marco has a couple of wins already in this event. He's pitched 8 innings, given up no runs, 2 hits. He's struck out 21 and walked 1. He faced 9 batters in their first game against the Junkyard Dogs. And Blair, as you know, you were sitting in the very same spot as you are with me tonight. He sat down 8 of those.
Yeah, 8 by way of strikeout. To me, the biggest defensive change is getting Bruno Matroni back behind the plate. Biondi's done a great job on a part-time basis all year long, but this is the lineup now I think that they're likely to go with for the rest of the week. Biondi has earned his spot in the lineup with his stick.
Yeah, he's hitting really well.
The stats that I've seen, he's been tearing it up. So Nick White, a real nice piece to have come off the bench.
USA national team member Frank Kimlinger leading things off. He's from nearby St. Paul. 2 for 8 so far at this ISC World Tournament, and he's driven in 3 runs. All 3 of those runs batted in came in a 2 for 4 outing in their first game against the Southside Stingers. Holy alliteration.
From Brisbane, Australia, and their tournament, Peter, actually ended a little bit earlier this afternoon. They got into the ISC 2 bracket, and they came a long way and played, I think, 5 games in about 3.5 days.
Well, Marco Diaz just hit 86 on our speed gun for strikeout number 22 of the tournament. And the one pitch, Blair, that in watching this team all season long on a very regular basis continues to work on the rise ball. And if that pitch ever takes a more consistent level for him now, not that he isn't already difficult enough to deal with, but
that will be the final piece in the puzzle for Marco Diaz, and really could put him over the top. The drop is very strong, especially with that ultra high velocity. But it's the changeup too. I mean, to have such a developed changeup, and we've seen this. He goes from 84, 85 down to 62. It's backbreaking.
He threw 2 against the Lacey A's yesterday where I just looked at somebody in the stands and said, that's unfair. That's just flat out
made that comment
unfair.
Last year, too.
I remember. Franco Hortolato, the 28-year-old, who's 3 for 8 here, is the batter, and there's the drop at 87 that Blair was referring to. So Diaz certainly has high velocity to start this important, if you will, quarterfinal in the winner's bracket. Ground ball, Gonzalez with Villavazo covering, and they execute it well for out number 2.
Tony is so versatile defensively. Can play short, can play second, obviously over here at first, and that's a solid defensive play because Villavazo, I've seen this play 3 times already this week, and on 2 of them, the second baseman never made it to the bag. Lenny Villavazo was there. When you see your first baseman break as a second baseman, you've got to get to the bag.
Blair, when this championship comes to an end around 8 o'clock or maybe a little later on Saturday, I want to take a look, when it's all said and done, at the amount of errors made by the champ. My guess is that will go a long way in determining who wins this event.
Yeah, when I look at the stats afterwards and putting together the guide, the championship team, usually the top 4, 1, maybe 2 errors on the week most.
Jeff Lewis, the batter, 2 for 5 so far in Mankato, was 6 for 15 in this event a year ago with a home run and 5 runs batted in. He's a member of the United States national men's team that captured a bronze medal in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan a couple of weeks ago. He had a good tournament there, 5 for 21 with a couple of home runs and 7 runs batted in. Facing Marco Diaz, who has come out of the chute firing BBs.
86 on that one. So if he's going to be consistently in that upper mid-80s range, he's going to be a handful tonight.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Jeff Lewis, who's from Amboy, Minnesota. As Diaz shakes off Matroni a couple of times, and now the smooth delivery. And wanted that one that was a little wide of home plate. And we'll bring you the umpires momentarily. Always for both pitcher and batter, and of course catcher, establishing what the strike zone is going to look like in the first couple innings. On the ground to Blake Hunter, and Hunter across the diamond. So an impressive 1-2-3 inning for Marco Diaz and the Chiefs. We're looking for the game's first run in our first of 4 quarterfinals in the winner's bracket here at the 2025 ISC World Tournament.
catcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Blake Hunter to lead things off in the top of the second inning. He has fit in beautifully this year for Hill United. Another national team member of Canada, and he had a marvelous World Cup where he went 8 for 14 and drove in more runs than anybody in that competition with 11. He has 17 as a member of the Chiefs in 2025, including 4 home runs. And he homered yesterday in the win over the Lacey A's as he faces Echeverres, crunches it, and that's going to be a fair ball as Hunter on his way towards second, and he'll go in standing up with a double to open inning number 2.
Got the foot down and got the bat through the zone and drove the pitch to left field with authority. Blake Hunter. 2 years ago, Peter, I remember the stats. Blake Hunter had more extra base hits than he had singles.
It's absolutely true because in 2023 he was 4 for 10, double, 2 doubles, and a home run on those 4 hits.
Which was a great World Tournament, but that was for the season with the Gremlins that year. He had an exceptional year.
And yet he only batted twice officially for the Gremlins in 2024. I know you're looking at me like that can't be and it seemed odd to me. We'll have to double check that. I don't have to check this. Alan Pecker is the batter, and Alan will foul this away. The 27-year-old from Parana, 312 on the year, going into this one. 2 doubles, 2 triples, 6 home runs, and 16 runs batted in. Looking for his first hit, Blair, of the 2025 ISC World Tournament. He's 0 for 4, but we don't have to go far back in the history books to know that can change. A quick throwback, and lots on it from a terrific catcher in Jaden Stratford. That almost turned into a double play as Allen goes down looking.
Well, this is the evolution of Jaden Stratford. 2 years ago, he was with the Bar Buzz at the ISC World Tournament, and they were battling through ISC 2. Stepped up to the Kegel Black Knights. He's got a real strong arm behind the plate.
So in the designated player spot tonight is Mexico's Pipolo Lopez, Edgar, the true name, the 31-year-old from Tijuana. 353 on the year, 18 for 51, 4 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, and 14 runs batted in. 0 for 3 so far in Mankato. And had a notion, but able to pull the bat back against Matthias Echeverres, the number 1 pitcher for Kegel Black Knights. And there's a story, Blair, that we must get to because the season didn't start that way for Kegel.
No, Josh Pettit was going to be the ace again for the Kegel Black Knights, but was injured very early in the season. And unfortunately for Josh, it's kept him out for the rest of the year.
He was hurt in the tournament in Kimberley to open the year for many teams, including the Hill United Chiefs. The Grafmeyer Memorial Tournament. I believe he was hurt in game number 2 as Lopez goes down officially on a strikeout, and Echeverres up to 3 now in the game as there's 2 outs in the top of the second after the leadoff double by Blake Hunter, who remains in that spot. These two teams, it's their first meeting of 2025. They were supposed to play in the title game of that event, but it was washed out on the Sunday, so it was not played.
Biondi swings at a good-looking rise ball from Matthias Echevers. Kegel Black Knights won the Boys' Summer Tournament just a couple of weeks back in Denmark at Circle Tap. They beat the St. Louis Honey Badgers squad in the final there. They run into Ostrander a couple of times at events in the Midwest, and prior to the Boys of Summer, hadn't been able to get past the Norsemen, but they did there and went on to win the title in Circle Tap.
Luciano Biondi is the hitter. Always have to keep the numbers straight. He's 34 in one set of jerseys and 15 in the other. Fortunately, in this sport, you don't rely a lot on that. The 22-year-old is on a bit of a roll. Late in the USA Nationals last weekend in Oklahoma City, he really got hot and is 2 for 5 here with a home run and 2 runs batted in. Hitting .422, that's the top batting average on the team entering the game tonight.
And that home run was an absolute no-doubter, too. Crushed it.
Scorched it, didn't he? Well, here's the 1-2 to Biondi. This one lifted, and it will find green, and it will score the game's first run as Biondi continues to deliver. A player who, coming into the night, was hitting .412 with runners in scoring position, and he has opened the scoring for Hill United.
It's amazing when you get the playing time, Peter, how much your confidence develops. The team made the decision early in the season that he was going to get a fair bit of catching time. They wanted to see what they had in this player. Was he a legitimate prospect behind the plate? And I think they found the answer to that question. The answer is yes, but he's hitting too.
Shane Boland, this one won't carry enough. It gets caught up in that wind blare that you talked about. We've seen a lot of wind-aided balls leave the park. That one might have been pulled back a little off the bat of Shane Boland. However, Luciano Biondi has driven in his third run of the ISC World Tournament, and Hill United has a 1-0 lead in a quarterfinal game in the winners bracket here in Mankato.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
Peter, as we come out of the break, let's make sure we recognize the Blue Crew, the third team out on the field. Behind the plate is our international umpire, Thomas Lohnert from Hamburg, Germany. Scott McLaren from Penticton, BC. Fresh off a World Cup appearance, is out at first base. And Terry Richter, also fresh from that, Sherwood Park, Alberta, on third base.
The catcher, Jaden Stratford, Wellington, New Zealand. And this is another, and Blair, you touched on it. I think he's just starting to scratch the surface.
Yeah, they've got some depth in New Zealand at the catcher position. Tuera Bishop, who had a 4-hit game the other night for Ostrander. And
he has no power.
He's broken a couple of balls here, I think, this week. But Stratford, very good defensively, a good arm, as we saw on that snap throw down, trying to get Brad Ezekiel earlier. And he brings some pop, too.
Jaden is 2 for 5 in the tournament. He's driven in a couple of runs. Hits in each of their first 2 wins against the Southside Stingers and then the much tougher opponent in STK Fastball from Kamloops, British Columbia. in an 8-5 triumph in their most recent outing.
And that was a really good win for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights because STK has come in here on a roll. They won that Seattle tournament a couple of weeks ago. They've been winning tournaments out in Western Canada all year long. They came here with a lot of confidence, and I think that was a bit of a rude awakening to be on the loser side so early for STK.
But a good early matchup, and you knew it was going to be.
Absolutely. For Fargo, on the other hand, a great confidence booster coming into this one.
Well, the Kegel Black Knights have a long history. And Stratford was impressive in Surrey last year. He batted .429. And dealing with Marco Diaz, 3 balls and a strike, and Diaz has walked his first batter of this game after looking borderline untouchable in the first.
Well, what I took away from the first, despite the strikeout to Kimlinger, was that Arteaga and Lewis both got the ball in play. And they weren't just squibbers either. There was solid contact on the ground, admittedly, sure, but they got the ball in play.
Tyler Damon, the batter from Oregon, Wisconsin. He's off to a great beginning in Mankato. He's 3 for 4 with a double and 2 runs batted in as Kegel down by a run. Have the leadoff man in Stratford on board at first base, and a quality cut by Tyler Damon.
Took the words right out of my mouth. He did not miss that by much.
Now, Tyler Damon was on Team USA, but according to my crack research staff, never had a time at bat, doesn't really show up anywhere in the stats.
No, I think he was the 15th man on the Team USA roster. And I'm sure that was explained to him going in, that they were mostly going to go with a set lineup, and he may not get much playing time other than pinch running duties or in the event of an injury.
But when you make that team, that still puts you in rarefied air. And off to a good start, as I mentioned, here in Mankato. 2 balls and a strike to Damon. Hit .211 at last year's tournament with circle tap. And Diaz missing with the drop away, and Bruno Matroni wants to go have a visit with his star pitcher.
And this happens from time to time, Peter. You and I have talked about this over the last couple of years, doing a number of Chief games both here at the World Tournament, at their tournament. Sometimes Marco's attention span seems to wander in the middle of a game and he loses the strike zone. And Bruno makes a visit out to the board, and sometimes it snaps back right away. Sometimes this momentary lapse lasts an inning.
Well, not a lot phases Marco. He's a very mild-tempered, for the most part, person, but he has himself in a little hot water here as he walks both Stratford and Tyler Damon to begin the bottom of the second inning. And brings to the plate number 35, Tyler Bowie, who hit a key home run in yesterday's win over STK. He's 1 for 4, and the Black Knights have something going here in the second. And Diaz had an extra long stare after that pitch back at home plate, and you see again, it is not shy his work tonight when it comes to velocity. Seen a lot of 85, 86, and 87 on that radar gun. And he pours in another one at 87. But right now, the strike zone is eluding him, or certainly it's not working for the guy who has the only vote that matters.
Yeah, he's trying to pound that outside corner. But right now, when you look where Bruno is set up, his left knee is on the edge of the plate. When he's reaching outside his knee, that means the ball's not on the plate.
Well, that is a strike at the letters.
And that was right into Bruno's chest, right where he wanted it.
So Diaz would love nothing more than a strikeout after walking the first two batters. Luciano Biondi, a run-scoring single, has broken the game open in terms of getting Hill United on the board. And that one, Booley fouls off towards his own dugout. Tyler 1 for 4 overall this week. Batted .200. He was 3 for 15 in 2024 with AWP, the Lumberjacks. And they've done a really nice job with this Kegel group of building this team for the season and primarily this event.
Yeah, they really added some key pieces. Tyler Booley, one of them.
And Diaz with that rise that I've mentioned earlier, that was a dandy from Diaz for strikeout number 2 and a big first out of the inning as he climbs the ladder to get Booley.
You got to be careful here with Damon Creasy. He had himself a whale of a world tournament last year.
He's 2 for 4 so far in 2025. Homered 4 times last year and drove in 8 runs in Surrey. Overall, the batting average was .267. Prior to that year, he played for Marchio Sausage in 2023. Sorry that they're not here this year. I just love the name. I don't know why I love the name, but I like the name. No balls and a strike to Damon Creasy from Wellington, New Zealand. And Diaz seems to have found a little bit of rhythm back after a tough start.
Interesting, Peter, the last couple of pitches, they've gone to the rise ball as opposed to that drop on the corner.
Haven't seen the change, I don't think, yet, Blair.
Nope.
In the arsenal, and it's a good one. That's the rise again. Goes right back up top, but misses this time to Creasy. Did not play for New Zealand at the World Cup. He was part of their qualifying team the year before in Prince Albert in 2024. Choked up on the bat. And there is a quality pitch, and that time maybe the first off-speed pitch of the game. And give Bruno Matroni a lot of credit too, Blair, for keeping this ball in front of him. It's like a goalie in hockey. He just shut the 5-hole in time.
Yeah, he kept it in front of him. No opportunity for the runners to advance, and that's a key thing right here, right now.
Thomas Crouch, the batter. He's from Illinois. 1 for 2 at this year's ISC World Tournament. Batted .200 in Surrey 1 year ago. And Diaz had a little zippity-doo-dah in that, which he virtually has on almost every pitch tonight, barring the strikeout pitch that he just retired Damon Creasy with. Trying to battle his way out after walking the first 2 batters of this half inning. And working ahead in the count again is Crouch with a swing and a miss. Thomas Crouch also spent some time, as of course Blair would know, with Circle Tap at this event. Following the visit from Bruno Matroni, things changed. Walked the first 2, struck out the last 3. It remains 1-0 Hill United after 2 as the Elite 8 has began at the 2025 ISC World Tournament on the best place to watch softball anywhere. Softball Premier TV.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Bradley Ezekiel leads things off for Hill United. Marco Diaz struck his way out of a jam in the bottom of the second, literally, with 3 in a row. And Ezekiel, who reached on an air to shortstop Franco Orteado, his first time up.
And the Knights may look back, Peter, on the second as a real wasted opportunity. They got the first 2 guys aboard on freebies. And don't underestimate the power of that mound visit, too. I know there was a couple of balls that came afterwards, but they changed the rhythm. They went to the rise ball. They made an adjustment. And, boy, did he roar back and look good.
That's what great catchers do.
Yeah.
And I always think about Bruno and Nick Mullins and again, there's a reason they've been at a high level in the sport, and they're both 39 years old and both longtime national team members for their respective countries. That does not happen for no reason. And Ezekiel fooled on a rise, and I can tell by his body language he's upset with himself. Swung at a bad pitch that time, and that's rare for Ezekiel.
We'll give credit there to Matthias Echeverres for getting Brad Ezekiel to chase a pitch up and out of the zone. Does not happen often, but that's credit to that good rise ball. It's got good late movement from Echeverres. You can see why he's on the Argentina national team. There was some wondering, especially after how Martin Gonzalez had pitched
at the
qualifier the previous summer. And why Echeverres, why not Gonzalez? We're starting to see why.
And he's only 23 years old, the guy who's working on the rubber right directly in front of us, facing Lenny Viavazo, and misses with what looked to be a drop, headed not exactly where he wanted it to be. He's up to 4 strikeouts in the game. And when we talk about Argentina, one of 8 countries who will participate at the upcoming World Games in Chengdu, China, that will start almost immediately when this tournament comes to an end, and some neat news there today.
Yeah, Miker Pimentel, who of course was the MVP, the winning pitcher in the gold medal game at the World Cup, has been named as the flag bearer for Venezuela at the World Games. And so congratulations to Miker. Last year's Kevin Herlihy, newcomer of the year, not here this year for various reasons. Look forward to Miker joining us next year in Kitchener, Ontario, in Canada.
Always a great host of the ISC World Tournament. The Hallman Ball Yard, as I like to call it. So Bruno Matroni, after the walk to Lenny Viavazo, that's the first free, or the second free pass, issued by Matthias Echeverres. And there's Stratford, who's not afraid to throw it. And maybe at times, I don't know if the word would be unnecessarily, but those always make me nervous in big games.
I go back to what Ryan Boland said on one of the podcasts. You better make sure on a throw down, particularly to second base.
Hit and run was on that time, and Matroni fouled it to the newly elected to the Hall of Fame, Jeff Ellsworth, and
He's got pretty good hands for a coach down there.
yeah,
in
well,
the third base box.
oh geez, I wonder why. It has been an absolute pleasure getting to spend time with Jeff all year long. He's just very meticulous, so organized in everything he does, treats people with great respect. I was a fan of his forever as a longtime member of the Canadian national team. I'm an even way bigger fan now.
2014 ISC MVP, the Chiefs, a 1-0 win in Kitchener. So that's some happy memories for the Chiefs there. Most recently, they won the Hallman Memorial Tournament earlier this season as well, beating the New Zealand Black Sox in the championship game.
There's the quality drop from Echeverres. That was a fine pitch from the 23-year-old to retire Bruno Matroni for the second out here in the third. Well, we expected a good one, and we have one to begin for sure. Tony Gonzalez into the batter's box. Tony had a better than average opening game against the Junkyard Dogs to the tune of 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in here on Sunday evening.
He was Softball Premier's Player of the Day for Sunday. Had some competition that. Thomas Anoka had a grand slam.
The throw from Stratford is in time to get Villavazo as the Chiefs trying to move a runner into scoring position, but Jaden Stratford would have none of it. To the bottom of the third in a 1-0 Hill United lead over the Kegel Black Knights.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business.
It is a great softball complex. The Caswell softball facility, 6 diamonds, a couple of practice diamonds, 4 that we're playing here on, and some quality gear to go home with if you so choose. And it's never too young, Blair, to find your way to a great softball game.
Never too late to find yourself at the softball diamond either.
That's a quality point as usual by yourself.
I was actually in the Sandlot tent earlier today and picked up a couple of souvenirs for the journey homeward.
Yeah, I have to get over there myself at some point this week.
And they always do a great job. We've been with Sandlot as our supplier.
Yeah, I took a quick peek the other day. They have some very nice stuff. We'll be happy to make a purchase or two. Logan Boom, the batter, and Diaz, who walked the first 2 batters that he faced to begin the bottom of the second, falls behind Logan. 3 balls and no strikes. Logan's off to a fine beginning in this event. From T, South Dakota, he's 3 for 5 with 3 doubles and a run batted in as Diaz delivers a strike on that offering.
Peter, two points you mentioned South Dakota. 1, Logan Boom, son of Chad Boom, longtime Team USA member and a star here in the International Softball Congress at the World Tournament.
Past a diving Blake Hunter, and it's ruled fair. The throw to second for the out. Luciano Biondi, and I believe, Blair, this is, unless he played in the Kitchener tournament in left field, this is certainly the first game I've watched him play in left. We know he's got a strong arm, and the video would tell you that Hill United may have just received a break. The head coach of the Black Knights is...
Yeah, Doc Landerman is out there pleading his case to Terry Richter, and he's got one, to be honest. The bang-bang play, and Terry is moving into that position from third base. But credit, yeah, Peter, absolutely, the arm from Luciano Biondi. We know he's got an arm from behind the plate, but boy, he brought that on time and on a line there to second base.
That was a rope over there.
Yeah, he's on the bag.
So a single and an out, as it turns out, and a key point in the game as Boom looked like he might have his fourth double already of the tournament. And Kimmler with a swing and a miss on the Diaz pitch, is Marco trying to make sure the plant area is to his liking. Kimmler struck out versus Diaz in the bottom of the first. So a 1-0 Hill United lead as they try to continue their quest for a repeat. Had an amazing championship Saturday. Last year in Surrey, British Columbia, had to win 3 games on that Saturday. And down the Bear Creek Express, then upended the Northeast Drillers before they beat the then champion. As it's out of the reach of Shane Boland.
And that is, sorry, Peter, that is good hitting by Frank Kimmler. Check swing, but got enough of the barrel on the bat with enough power just to get that over the outstretched glove of Boland.
Talk about fighting something off.
Yeah.
Because that pitch was around his eyes, Blair, when he swung at it. But he does well. And the speedy Kimmler finds himself at first. Orteado, the batter. Franco, the 28-year-old. Hit .294 in this event 1 year ago for the Circle Tap Dukes. He's 3 for 9 now in this year's event after grounding out to Tony Gonzalez at first base earlier. There's the high-end drop at 86. Blair, isn't that almost unhittable when it's in that spot underneath your hands?
And that's where you want to get that pitch, is bury it under the hands.
So the 2-strike pitch, and good work by Orteado to foul that away. Making Argentina's national team is no easy chore in this day and age.
And he had a day of ages in the qualifier last year. Didn't he have a 3-home run game?
He did, with 6 runs batted in, and it came against Hong Kong. So I don't know if you put an asterisk on it, but I mean, you still have to do it.
You still got to hit the ball.
There's not a lot of those, but yes. And he won't catch up to the rise ball, which has been a real difference maker in this game for Diaz, who's up to 5 strikeouts in the contest. And you mentioned nothing much more important than 2 things in this day and age: location and late movement. And Diaz, that one, I knew that one was going to be in the 86 or 87 category.
Well, you've got to be careful with Jeff Lewis, Peter. 2 years ago in this tournament, 12 for 15, 800. And this guy smashed the ball for Team USA.
He did.
Even his outs were loud.
Yeah, he homered twice in Prince Albert a few weeks back. Drove in 7. Had a huge home run, Blair, in the bronze medal winning game when the United States downed Japan. Had 4 RBIs in that game. And off the end of the Jeff Lewis bat on that occasion. Jeff had an amazing World Cup qualifier last year, too, in Oklahoma City. I guess that doesn't matter anywhere near as much, but he was .688 in that event, 11 for 16. Those are video game numbers. And Marco Diaz. The rise ball has been maybe as good as I've seen it all year long. It remains 1-0 Hill United after 3 on this beautiful Tuesday night in Mankato.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
Now Marco Diaz and Matthias Echevers have both been strong, and Hill United with a 1-0 lead. Tony Gonzalez will lead things off. He was at home plate when Lenny Villavazzo was thrown out on an attempted steal by Jaden Stratford to end the top of the third. Luciano Biondi has a run-scoring single in the second inning. That's the only run of the game to this point. Gonzalez had a marvelous 2024 ISC World Tournament where he batted .455. And we mentioned earlier his wonderful start to this year's event. He did not register a hit yesterday, went 0 for 2 against the Lacey A's in a 9-0 victory. But this is the night in this event that I always kind of fall in love with, because the tournament just jumps to a different level when you reach the Elite Eight. And Gonzalez, foul. Just turned on it a little more than he would have liked to on the inside pitch. Just out in front a little bit for the 35-year-old from Tijuana in Mexico, who's batting .311 on the year. He's doubled, he's homered 6 times, and driven in 22 runs. Only Bradley Ezekiel has more Hill United Chief runs batted in 2025. This one a mile in the air that Creasy says he has, and he does. So hits have been hard to come by in the game. Blake Hunter has one of them, an extra base hit, a double down the left field line his first time up. And he also scored on the single by Luciano Biondi. And Hunter, was he able to check his swing?
They didn't ask.
They didn't ask. Thought they were going to, especially the way Stratford quickly stood up. But no ask, and it's ball 1 to Blake Hunter. Orteado this time read it well and didn't end up as he did on a Bradley Ezekiel grounder caught in between. Good play by the shortstop.
Yeah, his first step was in on this one, and very smooth, too.
So 2 quick outs for Echeverres, who has only given up 2 hits. We'll make that 3, and this will be an extra base hit for Alan Pecker, who took a little bit of a glance to say, could I maybe get to third? No. A double for Alan Pecker, his first hit here in Mankato.
Well, he took the look, and we all saw him do it as he rounded the bag and just eases off and stands up going into second base. But he's in scoring position there now, and the way he runs, anything on the grass from Edgar Lopez, he's going to score easily.
Yeah, not as much speed in the bottom of the lineup tonight without Nick White, but when it's Alan Pecker, Nick White, and Luciano Biondi, that's a track team, Blair.
Oh, that absolutely is. There's a couple of people who have got some comparables, but I think that's probably the fastest 3 guys.
Well, I'd put Tani Mumu in that wheelhouse as well.
Edgar Lopez, Peter, for me, has quietly had a real solid season for the Chiefs. He's not leading in any stats, but his hits tend to come at big times.
Well, he's hit 300 this year with runners in scoring position and trying to add to that, and there is a base running mistake this time by Alan Pecker, but he's going to be safe.
He managed to outrun the mistake, and honestly, you want to minimize your throws, and I think Fargo got caught into too many throws in the rundown.
And I think he clearly dives in before he's tagged there.
So, and Pecker, while we're watching the replay and while they're arguing with the umpires, just stole home. Tom Crouch, it'd be lucky if he's still in the game. Pecker just calmly stood on the base while the Knights took it up with Terry Richter, and Pecker just strolled home.
I was watching the replay, so I didn't even see it occur.
I looked up, and he was crossing the plate, and
then I saw the mayhem ensue
yeah,
shortly thereafter.
Well, now Ellsworth is out there. Doc Landreman is out there. We've got a coaches convention and a blue convention happening all at once. There's Pecker crossing the plate, and he's probably grinning to himself as he did so. But screen left, you can see the meeting of the minds over here, and that's going to rattle the Knights a little bit because they thought they had Pecker at third. I think it was a little bit inconclusive. Looked like he was on the bag, and the tag probably was on the back of the leg. He was able to outrun his mental mistake there, base running. But the Knights are going to feel like 2 calls have gone against them.
What I was about to say, Blair, is you kind of took the words right out of my mouth this time, was that part of why this is so animated is they are still thinking back to the call earlier in the game on Logan Boom when he was thrown out at second.
Well, now they've got to regroup and reset.
Are they going to make Alan Pecker go back to third, saying that time had been called? Now, really smart on Alan's part. I don't know if I remember seeing anything quite like that scenario either, where in one breath you make a running mistake, and then right thereafter you
a real heads-up play.
A real heads-up play to potentially steal home. Well, apparently they've made the safe ruling, but the only reason he can't come home is somebody called time, or they ruled that would be the case.
The play was dead.
Was over.
Yeah.
So Alan Pecker, who doubled in the inning with 2 outs, is at third. Lopez, high. Is it deep enough? The answer is yes. A 2-run home run by Lopez, despite an incredible effort by right fielder Frank Kimlinger, who did everything he could to try to catch the ball. Pipolo Lopez, his 4th home run of the season, and by far his biggest blow of the campaign. And look at Kimling go over the fence, right through it.
You can't do anything more than Frank Kimlinger did to try to catch a ball that's leaving the yard. It makes the play with Pecker academic, but the Knights right now have got a real bitter taste in their mouths.
Well, they certainly would. So Echever's with really what would be categorized as his first mistake, and Lopez goes deep, and the difference is now 3-0. And Blair, I've said this to you a lot in the years that we've worked together, the last 2 or 3 now. If Frank Kimlinger makes that catch, you're on your own the rest of the night, because I don't need to see anything else. It's time to go back to the hotel for the day.
Yeah, because you will have seen just about everything.
That would have been as great a catch as I would have ever seen in person if he comes up with that.
But those are the home runs that Lopez has hit all year long. When it matters, when the Chiefs need a 2-run home run, he's come up with it.
Well, that, his biggest blow of the year. A 2-run drive. And Blair, you were a coach for a long time. The move to insert him into the lineup tonight in place of Nick White just paid big dividends.
It absolutely did. So Jeff Ellsworth continues to press all the right buttons. He and John Hill and John Stewart, the brain trust for the Hill United Chiefs, and they've got a lot of weapons at their disposal.
Well, Beyond You drove in the game's first run. Strikes out here. Pipolo Lopez. A 2-run drive has added to the Hill United Chiefs lead. They're in front 3-0. You're watching the 2025 ISC World Tournament on their streaming network, which is only possible thanks to the work of Softball Premier TV.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
They are still working on the fence.
Who's got the hammer out there? Is that Alan Pecker doing some landscaping? It is. Alan Pecker was pounding away with the hammer to get the spike in.
Well, they're all helpful. Bradley Ezekiel, the entire Hill United Chiefs.
Outfield has gone out there.
They have, trying to assist a great grounds crew. And Blair, I absolutely tip my hat always to people in those roles. Brad Ezekiel now has got the hammer, which a lot of nights at home plate he has too. It just doesn't look like that. And this all a result of Pipolo Lopez, who hit a 2-run home run that Frank Kimlinger, you could not make a much more valiant attempt at catching a ball over a fence. And because of the type of fence, you have the opportunity to give that a try. If that is a fence like what is in behind, which is a slow pitch distance fence in this complex, that doesn't occur.
It doesn't. I will say, though, Peter, if that is a permanent fence at that height, like, say, we have in Mitchell, you can get some leverage and hoist yourself up a little higher maybe than what Kimlinger might have been able to do on these breakaways. But they've got to, they brought in an extra unit, and now they've got to get it attached, and then they've got to get this yellow protective piece back on a couple of the panels here. So we might be a couple of minutes. So, Peter, why don't it's been a real busy day here at the park. I tell you, on the ISC side of things, there was a great ball game here a little bit earlier in the day with Team 518 and the Houston Aces were tied at 1 into the 9th inning. That game went 9 or 10 innings.
9 innings.
9 innings. The Aces, unfortunately, the pitching went south in the 9th, and they walked in. What I heard was they walked in 3 runs in the 9th, and they ended up dropping a 4-1 decision in that one to
Team 518.
So they stay alive in the losers bracket side.
Any idea where that name comes from, Blair?
I think it's an area code. I think.
It is an area code, but I've been wondering that all year as to how they might have arrived at that name.
Well, it's a new team that's been put together in upstate New York. If anybody is wondering where they're from Amsterdam, New York. Sandlot Merchants dropped a 2-0 decision to Ostrander. Started last night, finished this morning due to the rain, but then they rallied for a 9-0 win over our favorite team maybe this far, Peter, the Grass Valley Greens, who put up a valiant effort against the Bear Creek Express a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it was tied at 6-6 in that game before the Bear Creek Express broke it open, won it 11-6 as we are back underway, and that's not easy for a pitcher. I guess it's not much different than waiting through a long half inning, but you know, you go out there and you're ready. Off his glove and off of Viavazo's glove will allow Jaden Stratford to be safe.
Yeah, I think Marco deflected that just enough to change the trajectory on Lenny Viavazo.
And we'll wait to see how that is officially scored. But for the Kegel Black Knights, who trail by 3, an important leadoff runner and batter aboard to begin the 4th against Marco Diaz. This time Matrone set up outside, and it swerved back inside to Tyler Damon, the left fielder who walked his last time up.
It was given an error in Game Changer.
And Diaz falling behind Damon for a second straight time in the game.
Peter, Diaz is up to 54 pitches on the evening. We're just in the 4th, so maybe a little bit higher average than you would like.
And Marco has had some difficulty with the drop outside to left-handed batters.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to find the range on that outside corner. Bruno Matrone pivoted to the rise ball a couple of innings back. They've gone back to the drop ball here this inning, I guess, trying to test it out. And that one pretty much down the middle for a strike.
Yeah, Damon did not have the green light at 3-0. And why would you, down by 3? Wouldn't make a lot of sense, not to me anyway. And Diaz bears down and comes back with 2 hard pitch strikes. Jaden Stratford, the base runner, reached on an error to, I'm guessing, Lenny Viavazzo would be charged. And Matrone unhappy. He thought that maybe he had strike 3, but it's ball 4.
The only person who works umpires harder than Bruno Matrone might be Nick Mullins. The two of them spend an awful lot of time talking to their home plate umpires.
In its own right, it's what makes both of them great. So Kegel again with runners at first and second and no one out. That was the case in the second inning, and Marco Diaz dealt very well with it. He struck out the next 3 batters.
Well, it was the same 2 guys aboard in this situation in the second, and it's going to be the same 3 batters here, barring a pinch hitter, to see if they can change the result.
Yeah, the only difference is that Stratford, the first go-around, reached on a walk, this time on an error, as Booley attempted a bunt and missed on it. Always in key games, tight games, can you execute in the most important situations? Teams that do it on a really regular basis are successful. And missed away one more time. Did not look like Booley was going to lay down a sacrifice there. So another quality opportunity for the team from Fargo, North Dakota. In with a rise, and boy, did that tail in. Not only the movement up, but the curving motion in.
Yeah, up and in to the lefty. That's a very, very tough pitch.
So evens the count on Booley. Diaz gets the sign, and the smooth delivery.
Bruno was working harder than anybody on that outside corner for his pitcher, but it looks to me, and again, to see where those pitches are in the replay, but
that one looked pretty close to being right down Main Street. The full count pitch is strike 3. An 82-mile-an-hour rise ball. And that has really been the out pitch tonight in the game for Marco, who's up to 7 strikeouts in the contest. And now facing second baseman Damon Creasy. This time the rise is up and away. Creasy struck out his last time. As Diaz wipes the brow. This is a huge half inning in the game. That's the drop, but on an outside corner to a right-handed batter.
yeah, he got the call there.
Got a great game coming up after this one too, Blair.
And that green shirt you see right in behind home plate, Ron Hackett, coach of the Drillers, doing some scouting.
Creasy popped it up. Always trying to give your team an edge wherever you can as a coach.
And Peter, on a Tuesday night, the power of the Hill United Chiefs and then the 4 versus 5 game with the Bear Creek Express, this is the biggest crowd we've had here this week.
Yeah, by a mile. On the ground to Viavazzo, who was interfered with.
And that's a pretty easy call for Scott McLaren. The fielder has the absolute right to go and play the ball. When you make contact with the fielder, as he's making an attempt to field a legitimate attempt to field the ball, that's a no-brainer.
Now, is this play dead immediately?
I'm racking my brain. I don't have a definitive answer for you.
That's what they're talking about right here. And I know what Jeff Ellsworth is asking about. He's asking about what I'm thinking about and what I just posed the question to you. I've felt in my lifetime that if you could still make the play, couldn't this be a double play to end the inning?
It could be, but
I want to get clarification just for my own knowledge.
It may not be considered interference then. Like, the interference, I've always thought, kills the play.
It probably should when you think about it technically.
That's my recollection.
Right?
So listen, you've got three guys out there who know the rules way better, especially Scott McLaren. Not that Thomas Lohnart and Terry Richter don't, but Scott has been a deputy UIC for Softball Canada.
Well, what I have seen, Blair, in the past is that you would allow the play to finish. And then if you can't get to the lead runner by way of tag or you run over, then the play would stop. That's been kind of my understanding. So I think you're correct about when the play, like the minute interference comes up, I think it does deaden the play. I think when the umpire makes that call in terms of how the play develops can be different.
So the runner who started at second base, Stratford, who is now Booley because it's a two-out catcher replacement rule. So Damon is out on the runner interference.
But isn't that him at first base?
No, that's Creasy, the batter.
Okay, Creasy, right.
So he's aboard on a fielder's choice. Although arguably, he might have been out on the play.
Well, he was. But, again.
So the only thing I can think of then is that the play was ruled dead at the time of interference.
It was, which is why Stratford, now who's being run for, would have to go back because he was on his way to third on that ball hit to the other side of the diamond. Well, after all of that, we have runners at first and second, and two out.
And a pinch hitter at the plate, Mike Lewis.
Batting in place of Tommy Crouch. Lewis does have a hit in this 2025 ISC World Tournament. It came yesterday against STK, drives this deep, and Luciano Biondi. You'd think he played left field every day. That's his second terrific effort out there, and that would be a Softball Premier Play of the Day candidate.
Boy, if he's not 6'2", 6'3", he doesn't get to that. But boy, he just makes it look so easy, so graceful.
What athleticism and some kind of catch by Luciano Biondi, which could end up being the play of this game. Well worth another look. Sensational with a capital S here in Mankato.
Welcome to Monthill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Luciano Biondi just saved 2 runs in the game. A sensational catch. Great work, Luciano. And Carroll on the original shot, and then to provide us with a look at the replay. That is how the bottom of the 4th ended. And we're still in the middle of some controversial chats.
Well, Stratford is talking with Scott McLaren. Shane Boland's just looking for somebody to have a conversation with because everybody else is engaged, so he's gone and found Thomas Boner.
3-0 it remains after the sensational catch. And Blair, do we have some form of protest here?
No, I don't think so.
Well, who's this gentleman walking onto the field?
I'm wondering if he's maybe the trainer for the Knights because Etchevers has waved him off.
Okay, but wouldn't he be coming, or are those guys part of the grounds crew, those 2 guys that just came onto the field? That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, they would have...
like, those aren't ISC officials, correct?
No, they're definitely not ISC guys. No, they are part of the grounds.
Right.
You're right. Maybe they're out here for the landing area. It's the only thing I can think of. Doc Landerman's down to talk with Biondi.
Yeah, and here comes some more members of the grounds crew.
Thomas Crouch has called Doc back for something. Yeah, so they've asked for the grounds crew to come out and do something with the landing area.
Well, we've had a little of everything in this game.
We were moving along so well, too.
We were. Yeah, they're going to fix that landing area to the best of their ability.
And listen, they did so much work prepping for this tournament. But I was talking with Brad Walsh, the head of the host committee here and the guy who runs this facility. And I said, Brad, if you've never done a men's tournament, which they haven't done here in a couple of years, it's like a grenade going off slowly under your ground every game because it just blows holes in that landing area.
Well, I was asking in Oklahoma City about what they have going on. And my understanding, Blair, is in Oklahoma City, they have a very similar setup to what they have in the major leagues of baseball, where I was told, and I don't understand enough of it to go through it, but basically there's like a box in that area between the rubber and there's a mat as part of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of something that you literally pull up and put back in.
Yeah, they were working on that here, that type of system here, as well as what Brad told me. But and I'm surprised that system may have worked in Oklahoma because the guys jump so much farther than the women do. Like, he's outside the 8-foot circle here where he's digging. That's at the outer perimeter of the 8-foot circle. And they really, most park administrators, they don't get that about men's fast pitch.
Well, he just, after they went to work,
he's digging it all out.
He's trying to get back to Argentina, apparently, with the hole he's digging right now.
And It can also be the loose dirt. Like, you can jump into a hole, but where you slide is on the loose dirt. And that's what they were just pulling out most recently, and that's what he's doing again with the mule kick.
I don't think this is going to be the last time that we see the grounds crew. Because the next thing that's going to happen in the next half inning is Marco Diaz is going to go, you know what? I don't like the hole you just dug.
Yeah, and this is...
And it's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really have an answer for what you do in this case, but we might see the ground crew out between every half inning at this stretch of
let's hope.
Time. I know you're definitely hoping that's not the case. I've had a very lovely, relaxing day, so it's beautiful. I'm in a great mood. Couldn't be in a better place. So, do whatever you need out there. I'm good. I feel refreshed. And this has been a whale of a game as Shane Boland steps in and fouls it down the third base side. So, Pipolo Lopez, 2-run homer, and that delayed us too because Frank Kimlinger made such a fabulous attempt to catch the ball that, the grounds crew had to go back and put the temporary fence back together. What's coming next, I wonder? Although, thanks to the weather, I don't even want to share some of the things that we've seen the last 2 nights. This scalded. Oh, boy. Fair ball as Boland gets to second on a leadoff double here in the 5th. And I don't know if anybody has been given the heave-ho yet.
I'm not sure if we can see where the ball lands, Peter, because we're somewhat obscured. Let's really slow this one down.
Now remember, it's where the ball goes over the bag.
No, because it's in the air, so it's where it lands.
Was that still in the air at that point?
Yeah,
I
believe so.
So Shane Boland has another double, his 7th of the season, and his first hit of this game. And the Chiefs up by 3 in this winner's bracket quarterfinal game, if you will. We're into the Elite 8 in the winner's bracket. And a great game upcoming between JDT First Energy and the Bear Creek Express. And while they're owned by the same human, there's a rivalry there, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So Brad Ezekiel, who's reached on an error and struck out, is the batter. And 1 strike to him from Echeverres, and Ezekiel able to keep the bat back that time to even the count. Ezekiel coming into the game hitting .400 with an OPS of 1176. And fouls this back, I believe, off either catcher or umpire. A little drama on this Tuesday night, which never hurt anybody.
They got Bradley to chase on the rise ball.
Up the middle. Boland. It gets away from Logan Boom. And just mentioned that Ezekiel, with a .400 average with runners in scoring position, he just added to that a single, a run batted in, his 29th of the season and his 4th here at the ISC World Tournament.
That draws a visit from the bench. Mike Jamieson who does some pitching for the Knights on weekends.
And this is a newcomer added because of injury. That's Rowan Sears. who's 25 years of age. He is from Nova Scotia. Blair, I remember watching him at the Canadian Championships with you in Surrey in 2023. He plays for the Mastodons, and you're quite familiar with their head coach.
Yeah, and he was a late addition due to all of the changes that were required there. Ethan Johnson has come on to pitch here for the Kegel Black Knights, as Echever's now on his third time through the order, and that's a tall order for anybody to get through this Chiefs lineup 3 times. So Johnson will have to contend with that runner still in scoring position, and then we can close the book on Matthias Echever's.
Well, Echever's showed me tonight that his services will be very much a hot commodity, I think, Blair, as time goes on. Not overpowering, nothing, not in the category of the guy pitching for the other team tonight, but there's lots to work with there as Johnson comes into the game. I want to tell you a little more about Rowan Sears, who just got off the plane yesterday. He was an Alvinston ace back in the 2023 tournament. He also represented Canada in the 2018 U18 now World Junior Championship and helped Nova Scotia win a silver medal at the 2022 Canada Summer Games, where he hit .263. So he is the runner, as Brad Ezekiel able to make his way up to second. And the new pitcher is indeed Ethan Johnston, who's pitched 4 innings so far in the competition. They came in the win over the Southside Stingers, and Rowan Sears alertly sees the ball go to the backstop and scampers his way up to third. Ethan was a member of the Ostrander Norsemen back in the 2023 tournament. And in a tough spot here, looked like some off-speed to Lenny Viavazo, who walked and then was thrown out attempting a steal in the third. He flew out to center field, his first time in the game. So I think that gets you up to date on the newcomers. It's a 4-0 lead now for Hill United after the RBI single off the bat of Brad Ezekiel. Viavazo ripped that into center. Fine work by Logan Boom to cut it off, but Viavazo contributes with a big RBI as he rips that into center field, and the difference is 5-0. And Blair, how big does that catch look now?
Well, we talked about it saving 2 runs, and what has gone from what could have been a 3-2 ball game now swings 2 runs the other way. 5-0 for Hill United here in the 5th. Top of the order, who really, Peter, have been quite quiet tonight, clicking here later in the game.
Yeah, 3 straight hits, a double for Boland, single off the bat of Ezekiel that drove in a run, and then Lenny Viavazo with a ripper. And he cashes in run number 5. And prior in the game, as Blair was alluding to, top 3 guys did not have a hit.
Nope.
But they do now. Matroni again down the left side, which has been very much a story of the game.
Been busy playing left field tonight for both teams.
Luciano Biondi's family, mom and dad and sister, are in attendance from Argentina. So a nice moment to be able to see their son and Their son's having a great start to this ISC World Tournament as Bruno Matroni, the batter, and both Blair and Joe Todd will tell me shortly what's going on in behind me.
Well, that's the Georgian Bay Giants. Just took a 2-1 lead over the Lacey A's. That's in winner's bracket action in ISC 2.
That'd be a good matchup. Georgian Bay losing the ISC 2 final last year.
Last 2 years.
Last 2 years. Well, I remember one year a little better than the other because I was lucky enough to be in attendance last year. And Bruno Matroni has walked against our new pitcher, Ethan Johnston. Still 1 out in the inning. Or is there an out in the inning? It says 1 on the score clock.
Yeah, Bruno struck out.
Bruno struck out. There you have it.
Yeah, he was caught looking at something that he wasn't looking for and just made a beeline for the dugout. Lenny still over at first.
Yes. So Tony Gonzalez, the batter, in search of his first hit of the game. Change up from Johnston is a strike.
That's a good pitch for Ethan Johnson. He's going to need to change speeds. Not overpowering. He's going to rely on location and getting batters to chase.
Well, so important. And I know this tournament, especially on the winners bracket side as you move along, and the schedule allows it, to by and large throw your ace every day. But if you stumble and the road gets longer, then innings from other people become crucial. Off the fists, as Creasy goes back a couple of steps onto the grass for out number 2.
And Peter, we've talked about the batters being ahead of the pitchers just about all year long. You are going to need your 2 at some point in this tournament.
I agree completely. Blake Hunter has doubled and scored and grounded out to short. And Stratford, he can whip it, make no mistake. That's part of the maturation too, Blair, when you're a young catcher. You know you've got great tools, and he has good tools. Sometimes less can be more.
Yeah, and again, I always go back to that podcast appearance by Ryan Boland. There's a time to go after a runner, but it needs to be a high percentage play.
As Johnson works to Blake Hunter. The 2 plays of this game, in my estimation, were a Pipolo Lopez 2-run homer that turned 1-0 into 3-0, and then with a score still 3-0. And runners at first and second, Luciano Biondi, in what I believe is his first game of the year in left field, made a stunning catch to save 2 runs, robbing pinch hitter Michael Lewis. That was some kind of catch. Three balls and a strike to Blake. And Blake trotting his way down to first base. And Alan Pecker, who has doubled in the game, also involved in a controversial play over at third in more ways than one. Was he safe? Well, they called him safe. And then as there was a lot of questioning, he trotted home with what looked to be another run. In the end, they talked about it. and said time was called, and he went back to third, but did end up scoring on the Pipolo Lopez 2-run homer. Big hop for Creasy. More damage done by the Hill United Chiefs. They score 2 more and lead by 5 in the 5th at the 2025 ISC World Tournament in Mankato, Minnesota.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
As I expected that the grounds crew would have to come out before Marco Diaz started to pitch. This is exactly what happened. The Chiefs have added 2 more, and he makes his way to the pitching rubber with a 5-run lead in this first of 4 winners bracket quarterfinals. It'll be the Bear Creek Express against newly formed JDT First Energy in what should be a dandy to follow this one. And Diaz with a hard drop ball swung on and missed that time by Logan Boom, who was involved in a controversial play, thrown out trying to turn a single into a double, his first time up. And he's been locked in early in the event as number 41. He's now 4 for 6 here in Mankato. Goes the other way with it, and look out. Always have to keep your head up in these type of complexes.
Peter, you mentioned the 4 quarterfinals. Tomorrow night, Bear Creek Gremlins and Toronto Batmen, and then Northeast Drillers and Ostrander Norsemen in the other battle of the undefeated teams.
An 8 strikeout to open the bottom of the 5th, and Blair, one more time, it's the rise ball. I would say that of the 8 strikeout pitches 5 or maybe even 6 have come on the rise ball.
I think you're absolutely right. There was one changeup.
Back up the middle. Viavazo ranging. And it'll be an infield hit for Kimlinger.
Boy, everybody went after that one. Shane Boland ended up halfway across the diamond.
So did Viavazo.
The other way.
Look where he goes to get this from his spot at second. Shows great hands to reach. Jump, off-balance throw, but Kimlinger runs too well in order not to be safe. So he has his second hit of the game off Marco Diaz. 1 out in the bottom of the 5th for Franco Orteado. Past the diving Blake Hunter. And the Kegel Black Knights not ready to go away here in this winner's bracket quarterfinal.
Peter, we've talked a lot this year about how normally Nick Shales, but Blake Hunter here as well, play so far off the line, playing the percentages that there are more hits that go between short and third than there are that go directly down the line. That time came back to bite them just a little bit.
That changes, though, Blair, later in the game when you're more concerned in a tight one with protecting the line. I don't think you're quite as consumed with that here as you might be if it was 2-0 instead of 5. Maybe it wouldn't change. I have not studied that.
Well, Shales in particular, and Blake is a good 6.5, 7 feet off the line. Shales is usually 2 more feet to his left.
He is. I agree. I just think there's certain you're always, pre-scouting and putting yourself in the best spot you can. And let's face it, at that spot, as we've seen over and over tonight, you don't have much time to be in the wrong spot. It gets on you in a hurry. But protecting the line later in the game with a certain lead, I think, certainly I was always coached that it becomes far more important whether you're an infielder or even whether you're an outfielder.
Yeah, these are the percentages that you're playing. And I think that's the calculus that Nick Shales has done in his head.
Good drop ball, swung on and missed by Jeff Lewis with 2 on and 1 out. And Blair, another story that has become very prevalent is, to this point, Kegel's inability to take advantage of their opportunities. And it's not like Marco's had a bunch of 1, 2, 3 innings in this game.
No, they've had a lot of runners. Other than the first, they've not had a 1, 2, 3 inning.
Went off Lewis's bat a couple of times.
Need a base hit if you're a Knights fan here with runners in scoring position. Haven't been able to come up with that just yet tonight.
They trail the reigning champion Hill United Chiefs 5-0 as Marco swatting the array of black flies away from him. And punch foul. Good at bat for Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis was able to fight off the rise ball there.
Having trouble getting into my game changer account to see how many pitches Marco has thrown in the game.
83.
Thank you, sir. And the good at-bat continues for Lewis. And hitting is contagious. And the Kegel Black Knights absolutely looking for a spark down by 5. Everything to this point has really gone the Chiefs' way. That's hard to argue. But they've also made it happen. And Lewis, that almost looked like he was protecting himself. He did not expect that in that location with this Blair movement.
Yeah, that's the good rise ball again from Marco Diaz. 9 on the night now. And Peter, you said it, 6, maybe 7 out of those 9 on that rise.
Well, the last 2 in this inning have both been in that manner. Facing Jaden Stratford, who's been on base twice. Walked and then reached on an error on a ball he hit that went off Marco Diaz's glove, and then Lenny Villavazo, who probably would have had time to make the play, he couldn't collect it either. And Diaz has found another gear tonight when he's needed it the most, and that's what really separates great pitchers. And he's raring again, up at 86. Been a lot of 86s and 87s on the speed gun tonight. He is humming it. Trying to end the 5th. He's had to work. But as I just mentioned, he's been at his best when it's mattered the most. And Stratford does well on this occasion to check his swing. Not an easy pitch to lay off of. If you've ever been in a batter's box and faced a rise ball, looks pretty good most of the way before it gets to you. I hated trying to hit it. Hated it. With a capital H.
It's my favorite pitch.
Yeah, I know. We've had that discussion. I didn't really like hitting any of the pitches, to be honest. I sucked as a hitter. I was an okay fielder.
I would have been gassed by Marco Diaz's change. Not that I would hit the rise ball from Marco either, but I would have been gassed by his changeup.
I'm in the best place ever to deal with Marco Diaz. A mile away from the batter's box. Outside corner. Big smile, didn't get it. Thought he had it.
88 from Marco Diaz. We're bordering into record territory.
Whew. How about a little hot sauce for you? Not if you're Joe Todd, apparently. Past the diving Villavazo. Great throw by Alan Pecker to keep the runner at third.
What a hose by Pecker. He came up gunning, and Peter, the catchers I have talked to want that throw in the air. They don't want the bounce, and that was right into the breadbasket of Bruno Matrone.
I can't wait to give you another look at this throw in from right field. It went out at over 100. It comes in about 85.
Right into the breadbasket. What a perfect throw from Alan Pecker.
Wow.
And let's talk about the job of hitting by Jaden Stratford. Took that pitch the other way, as Joe Todd likes to talk about. Just went with what he got the barrel of the bat through the zone, and has loaded the bases here for the Knights. But the defense here prevented a run. A lot of teams, that run scores.
Well, we've seen an amazing catch by Biondi in left, and then the frozen rope to come home. So bases loaded for Tyler Damon, who's walked twice in the game.
Oh, and a ball on the field, and a great grab by Tony Gonzalez as it bounced right up into his face.
Yikes.
And it's rare, and this complex is so well constructed. I've only seen this happen once, maybe twice here, which you often get at these pinwheel-style complexes.
Well, the Black Knights still trying to cross home plate for the first time. Blair, sometimes as an umpire, based on the catcher's setup, because that's who you're working behind, when he gets pulled away sometimes, so do you.
Yeah, Bruno Matroni had to reach back across his body, and that might have fooled Thomas Lonard a little bit.
And Damon fouls that wide of third. So Kegel has threatened all night. Is this the inning they finally get on the board?
Well, they've had looks at it second inning, third, fourth. Bases loaded here in the fifth. At some point, Peter, you've got to come up with a key hit here with runners in scoring position. You got to break the zero.
Well, they thought they'd just done that until Alan Pecker got involved. So a ball and a strike to Damon. And that's the pitch all night.
Yeah.
The drop ball away to left-handed batters.
They just haven't been able to dial that pitch in.
Haven't quite got it to where they want it to be. Change up. And that has been rare. I think that's number 2 of the night.
62 dialed down from 85, 86, 87, once at 88.
What I call that is welcome to the no chance motel without the key. So with a runner at second, you always want to be sure on the signs. This, in so many ways, the most important at-bat of the night for the Hill United Chiefs to deal with. As this game closes in on the 2-hour mark. Grabs the Gorilla Gold for grip, and here he comes. Full count. Is he going rise here?
That's been the strikeout pitch all night. Why go away from it? You haven't been able to dial in the drop.
Here's the payoff. It was the drop, but it was fouled away.
Nobody's touched that inside rise, especially the left-handed batters. I get the reluctance because if you hang it, you might lose it, but he hasn't hung one yet.
Might be 5-4 if you make a mistake. And like in any sport, you want to get beat with your best pitch.
It's been his best pitch tonight.
It has. Hard to argue. And there it was. And he gets another great result with a rise ball. Has just flat out found a way when he's needed an answer and has had some fabulous defense played at critical times as well. It remains 5-0 Hill United after 5 in this winner's bracket quarterfinal on Tuesday night of the ISC World Tournament in Mankato, Minnesota.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof.
been a lot of interesting moments, turning points, a little controversy. This game has had a lot of intrigue to it. One of the biggest moments supplied by the leadoff batter in the sixth, Pipolo Lopez, who was facing the starter, Matias Echeverres, at the time, and hit a 2-run homer in the fourth to turn 1-0 into 3. Ethan Johnson came in the last inning to replace Echeverres, who had a pretty solid outing against a terrific hitting Hill United team, albeit without a couple of key players in Nick Shales and Quentin Bruce. One team has made the most of its opportunities, Blair. The other has not.
Well, I think when all this is said and done, if it stays like this, the Knights are going to look back at it absolutely and say, well, we had our chances.
Big one hopper for Damon Creasy to retire Pipolo Lopez to begin the sixth. I would think the hit count would be close to being even in the game. Luciano Biondi has done it both at home plate and his sensational catch to save a couple of runs. That one came in the bottom of the fourth. Has contributed in a large way.
8 base runners left aboard for Fargo thus far.
Biondi high in the air, but should be routine. And is for Tyler Damon, and there's 2 away. So Ethan Johnston so far has come in and done a nice job. Shane Boland with a double and scored a run in the 5th inning. As the top of the Hill United Chiefs order strung 3 consecutive hits together as part of a 2-run 5th inning. Boland takes up and in. The affable, infectious Shane Boland, the Hill United Chiefs captain. And had a mighty cut at the Johnson pitch that time.
Yeah, Johnson again changing speeds, and Shane chased that one upstairs.
Good late movement to break into the strike zone. Another little Luciano addition to the arsenal. Nobody's had to work harder this week than him, thanks to Mother Nature, who has not been his friend.
Well, 3 different full, complete setups in 4 days for Luciano due to the weather. And we're working outdoors. I think everybody probably knows that. We're under cover of a tent, but that doesn't make it weatherproof, and certainly not the kind of weather that we've had here with just torrential rain.
Orteado. And it gets away from Jeff Lewis.
Yeah, just a complete whiff by Jeff Lewis. He was pulling the glove in really before he had it. Just a lack of concentration or a loss of concentration just for a second, and it goes off his glove.
He just missed it.
Yeah, he was pulling it down before he got it. It just tipped off his glove.
You don't see that a lot.
No, he's kicking himself over there right now.
And not exactly a guy you want to give an extra opportunity to either. So Ezekiel, who drove in a run his last time up, his team leading 29th of the year, does not have a runner in scoring position for this at-bat. Shane Boland on the air. Change up. Misses inside. Brad's 1 for 3 on the night with a single, a run batted in. As the Chiefs in front by 5. Trying to go to a perfect 3-0 in Mankato. And we'll have tomorrow off regardless of the outcome. And they're hoping to be in a winner's bracket semifinal come, I believe, in the 6 o'clock time slot on Thursday. And Ezekiel's going to draw a 2-out walk. As he finds himself on base for a second time. Lenny Villavazzo has driven in a run. He was 1 for 2. He also walked and was thrown out on an attempted steal earlier in the game. The 26-year-old from Mexico. As he asked for time, now he's doing a little digging of his own in the batter's box. Late in this game. Another very important winner's bracket quarterfinal. Still to come your way tonight on Softball Premier TV and the ISC streaming network.
But see, here's the downstream impact of this error is suddenly you're facing Villavazzo with 2 guys aboard. You should have been out of the inning.
So true. And a pitch up and out of the zone from Ethan Johnson, who replaced the starter, Matias Echeverres. And that's part of coaching and managing too, Blair, to manage your number one pitcher knowing how critical he is. And while you never want to give in a game, you do have to be smart about how you set yourself up for the next one as well. We're going to see a lot more Echeverres, I would think, before this event is over. And way in. Guess who with another snap throw trying.
He was trying to get Boland napping on that one because that was just from the crouch. Like, he never got up and fired it. He looped it over the head of Johnson, and it was a, hey, maybe we'll get him napping type of throw. Shane, certainly not on this moment anyway.
Well, he did catch Alan Pecker a little bit earlier in the game. Villavazzo turns on that pitch.
When we go back and we'll look at that replay later tonight, you're going to see that Pecker was 18 feet off the base.
Oh, no, he was.
Yeah.
I didn't know if if that was a delayed steal type attempt, if he was, caught napping. Because he was, you're right, he was a ways off. So a full count, 2 out, 2 on for Villavazzo. Hoping to drive in another run. Ouch. Just what he needed to be hit again. That's the 4th time he's been hit by a pitch in the last 2 games.
That's Patty Shannon territory.
Oh. This poor guy.
I mean, he's on top of the plate, but, boy.
It's a good thing he wears some extra gear. Need a full suit of armor the last 2 days. I've never seen anybody, Blair, in high competition get hit 3 times in one game like he did against the Lacey A's.
Johnson just came right in again on Matrone. But bases loaded now. Ethan Johnson should have been out of the inning 3 batters ago.
Well, what have you heard since you were 6 years old? Errors and walks. It hasn't changed, Blair, even all these years later. And Johnson fighting it in terms of finding the strike zone after walking Ezekiel, but it was the air over at first that started the chain of events. And Stratford and Lewis chatting with the pitcher. If you're Hill United, you'd love a single to score 2 and then have a chance to shorten the game in the bottom of the inning. Might be a lot to ask for, but certainly have a chance to do it now.
But these are the situations that Hill United over the years have feasted upon. You give this team a break, and they take advantage of it. They capitalize.
You just cannot give excellent teams extra outs.
Whether it's the Chiefs,
the Gremlins,
Express, JDT, the Drillers have been ripping the cover off of the ball so far. Now, they're going to step up in competition a little bit tomorrow night. But my goodness, have they looked, and with no Riley Macchia, because he's still injured from jamming his leg on that plant in the game that you were doing, the loser bracket final the other morning.
This looks like it will get Ethan Johnson out of trouble, and it does, as Matrone pops up to end the 6th with the bases loaded. But Hill United in command in this winners bracket quarterfinal. They lead the Kegel Black Knights by 5 on Softball Premier TV.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
Hill United has chipped away. Marco Diaz on to work the 6th inning. And Blair, in this game, with his 10 strikeouts, marks the 8th time that he has had 10 or more strikeouts in a game for the Chiefs in 2025.
I'd like to know how many of those that he got with the rise ball. I suspect not too many.
Prior to tonight?
Prior to tonight.
Prior to tonight. I would suggest
Peter, just before we get going with this inning too, let's give a shout out to John Kegel, the erstwhile sponsor, founder of this team, inducted into the Hall of Fame on Sunday, co-recipient of the Welby Award with the Hill family, also inducted into the Hall of Fame. And magnificent speeches by both these fine people. And we had our Hall of Fame announcement for next year today, but this year's class was equally top-notch.
Yeah, you could, just in both the presenter's speech and then listening to Mr. Kegel himself, know what it has meant to his life, his family, his business. It all seems to tie in, Blair. I always say sports really does emulate life in so many different ways. And you could just absolutely feel the warmth and the meeting. And then, as I echoed, and we'll do it again, Brian Porter, who spoke on behalf of the Hill family to talk about the upbringing and how, the Chiefs and the indigenous community and all they've done in the Six Nations area. Yeah, brought a tear to my eye.
It was a fabulous acceptance speech by Brian Porter. Bruno Matroni has gone from the soft sell to the hard sell there with Thomas Lonard.
Full count to Frank Kimlinger, or make that Tyler Booley, pardon me. There's 5 there, but that's Tyler. We're not quite back at Frank yet. Tyler has struck out twice in the game. And as Blair mentioned, one of the stories, and there have been many of them, the 8 base runners to this point that the Black Knights have left stranded. I don't know if he's come much closer to strike 3 on that pitch than the one that was just called a ball.
Fourth walk of the night for Marco Diaz. Boy, normally you'd think that this would come back to bite you. He's been able to work out of these jams with the strikeout pitches, but you're asking a lot of your body. We're up to a lot of pitches here.
Well, he only has 31 walks. This is his 91st inning of the season as a Hill United Chief. He has a lot of other innings, whether it's with other teams or the U.S. national team, but that one had some giddy up on it.
And 107 pitches now for Marco here in the 6th. If he stays in, he's going to be north of 120.
But the Hill United Chiefs have a luxury, Blair, because they don't play tomorrow.
Yes. Which I suspect is why you haven't seen Justin Schofield on here in Leaf with a 5-0 lead.
I agree. Well, Jeff Ellsworth named the ISC Hall of Fame today, and as a manager, he's made all the right moves tonight. His lineup inserting Luciano Biondi, that allowed Pipolo Lopez to bat. He's hit a 2-run homer. He's had all the answers. And Diaz with a strikeout of Creasy for his 11th of the game. And guess which pitch again?
Yeah, the
rise.
Doc Landerman was out asking Tyler Booley if he wanted or needed a pinch runner.
And Michael Lewis, who was flat out robbed by Luciano Biondi. That's a huge moment in the game. It's 3-0. Runners at first and second in the 4th. A well-struck ball off the bat of Michael Lewis, and Biondi with a just marvelous catch going back towards the fence in left field. Jumped high in the air, complete extension to haul it in. So an out and a ball and a strike to Michael Lewis. Past Viavazo. And Michael Lewis has a base hit.
The 5th straight inning that the Kegel Black Knights have had 2 runners aboard here against Marco Diaz.
Now, there's been nothing easy about it. Nothing. Except the bottom of the 1st. That's it. That's the only 1-2-3 inning, by the way, Blair, of the entire night. Both sides. Because Hill has not been retired in their 6 at-bats, 1-2-3 either. So we've had one clean half inning.
And this is why games take 2.5, 2 hours and 40 to play.
I know them well this season. Logan Boom, the batter. Blake Hunter on a big hop. And there are 2 away. Blake has really fielded that position well. He's such a versatile player, another part of what makes him a special performer.
Well, what a luxury to be able to tap that on your bench to bring in a national team player who can play, as you just said, Peter, virtually anywhere on the diamond.
So true.
At an elevated level, too. It's not like he's average.
No. Last weekend, he made good play after good play at the hot corner in place of Nick Shales, unavailable for the last couple of weekends. Well, we have made our way to Frank Kimlinger, as it turns out. 2 out, runners at second and third.
It's kind of the definition of insanity over there. You keep going to that same pitch and expecting a different result. Thomas Lonart has been very consistent.
Yeah, he's not given much over there. That is for sure.
He's been close on a couple, but most of them are through the other batter's box. There's one of the very few he's gotten on that outside corner.
But that one, to me, looked from at least our vantage point like it was more towards the middle of the plate. Not the dead middle. So 2 balls and a strike to Kimlinger, who has a couple of hits in the game.
And suddenly he's found the range there, Peter, for these last 2 pitches.
That looked like a low rise to you, Blair, rather than the drop, or did that look like the drop to you?
I thought it was the drop again, but again, we're 60 feet away, too.
The 2-2.
And that pitch got more of the plate than Bruno Matroni was looking for. He was well out to our left, your right.
That was also at 87. He's been as high as 88 on the gun tonight. And there have been a lot of 86s and 87s. Not 1 or 2 either. See what he dials up here. Strike 3 looking.
87, hit it if you can.
Every time he's been in trouble, he's come up with an answer. It remains 5-0 as we head to the 7th and our first of 4 over the next 2 evenings. Winners bracket quarterfinals at the ISC World Tournament.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
To the 7th inning we go. The Hill United Chiefs in front by a count of 5-0. Still one more dynamite contest to come your way on the ISC streaming network and Softball Premier TV. And it's already a bit of a rivalry. JDT First Energy in year 1. The Bear Creek Express, not in year 1 by any stretch, but very different, is hitting this high and deep and foul. Was Tony Gonzalez, who already has a couple of home runs to his credit here in Mankato. He hit 2 against the Junkyard Dogs on Sunday in the Chiefs' opening game victory. He clobbered that. I think they're trying to get it back from people under the tent. Maybe.
That's the Brinkman tent.
Is it? After the last 2 nights, I don't like tents. No, you know what I don't like? I don't like wind. My son, as a youngster for many years, would utter the phrase, "Daddy, too many wind." Last 2 nights, too many wind.
Too much Tony Gonzalez.
Well, that's his first hit of the night, as he has another base knock. He was 0 for 3 going into that at-bat, but Tony delivers, taking the ball the other way where it's pitched into right field for a leadoff base hit. And Nick White's going to come into the game and run. What a great family. I've spent some time with them this year. His dad, who was a longtime member of the Canadian Navy. Mom and grandma. It's one of my favorite parts about this sport and being around it is just all the different people you get to meet. This is a major league pop-up off the bat of Blake Hunter, but handled routinely by Damon Creasy for out number 1.
I think that came down with ice on it.
Not in this weather. Well, Alan Pecker's been involved in the game, including a double, scored a run. Looked like he was trapped in between second and third in no man's land. And then with what he did defensively that I'll be seeing in my sleep or outside of my sleep, that throw in from right field.
Somebody online.
There goes Nick White, and this is what speed does. Dive here, dive there, safe in both spots.
Yeah, create some havoc out there. That throw tailed on Jayton Stratford, and Logan Boom had to come get it. And then at third base, you've got to make sure that throw again doesn't get by you, or you've handed him 180 feet and a run.
Blair, last weekend in Oklahoma City, and it came in a key moment in a game against JDT First Energy, he scored on a single to right when the outfielder just threw it back to second. This finds a gap. Alan Pecker has another extra base hit. Jeff Ellsworth tells him to go down. He does, and it is a triple for Alan Pecker.
He was absolutely flying around second base. Watch it on the replay here. I'm not sure what we're going to track, whether it's Allen or the ball. We're going to pick up Allen coming around second here, and he is in full flight. And at the last second, like, he slides for about 1.5 feet and hits the bag hard and pops right up.
Well, he has been on display in a big way in the game as the lead increases to 6, and now Pipolo Lopez, who's had a big night, drives in his third run of the contest. He hit a massive 2-run homer in the fourth and now has an RBI single to cash in Alan Pecker. The Hill United Chiefs now, barring a miracle-type comeback, might be the first time you can really think about a winner's bracket semifinal come Thursday evening. Biondi, a blooper, has his second hit of the game. His stellar outfield catch, a big difference maker. And he has a driven in run himself. In fact, he cashed in the first run for the Chiefs tonight in the second.
It's been a story at the bottom of the order here. Peter Pecker, Lopez, and Biondi have wreaked havoc on this Fargo team here tonight. Lopez has got 3 RBIs. Pecker 2 runs scored.
They've combined for 5 hits. Pecker has 2 hits. Lopez 2 hits, 3 RBI. And Luciano, I'll make it 6 hits because Luciano Biondi just had his second hit. So you're right. Great mileage from 7, 8, and 9. And part of the coaching move to insert Pipolo Lopez, play Luciano Biondi in left field. And it's all worked out splendidly for the Chiefs. And Blair, this is a game where, let's just say you wanted to tune in right about now. That score doesn't even come close to telling what we've witnessed in 2+ hours this evening.
No.
Not even close.
Not even close. The Kegel Black Knights, 10 base runners over the course of the evening. We haven't played the 7th yet. They're still going to get to hit in the 7th. Only 1 half inning has gone 1, 2, 3 on both sides.
That's it. Boland. This could be 2. This is 2. To end the inning. However, 2 more Chiefs runs. And now they lead by 7 as we make our way to the bottom of the 7th in our first of 4 winners bracket quarterfinals. And our first of 2 on this Tuesday night from Mankato, Minnesota.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
Marco Diaz's night is over. 6 shutout innings, 12 more strikeouts. He's up to 33 in his first 3 games here at the ISC World Tournament, and he was absolutely tested by the Kegel Black Knights, but Blair, to his credit, was able to get out of trouble both on his own account and with some help from the defense every single time as Justin Schofield enters the affair to try and close it out with a 7-run advantage here in the bottom of the 7th. Justin 6-1 on the year. He's pitched 42 innings. Struck out 75, walked 15. And one of the highlights of my week, and there have been a few already in Mankato, Minnesota, was yesterday when I had a chance to just watch the Hill United game off the microphone. I believe his 8-year-old son, Gordon, watching him yesterday track down foul balls, the intensity, the passion. I looked at Mom last night during a team meal and I said, help me out with this one. Who's more competitive in the house, son or dad? My guess is it's tie goes to the runner. Montana said to me, she goes, yeah, when they're both at one another, it's not the most fun. But he was just a treat. I just loved watching him. He was right into the game every pitch, watching Dad and the Chiefs. That was fun.
And we want to say thank you to Montana, who delivered a box of homemade cookies to us here in the booth a couple of days ago. Peter, I think you were not here at the time, and
probably a good thing for me.
Yes, but they were outstanding. A wonderful gesture from a wonderful person, and want to publicly say thank you so much for that.
It's funny, too, apparently, and not a surprise, that he loves Nick White. Might be his favorite player.
No surprise there.
As Justin comes off the bench with a great rise ball to get Franco Ortiado to begin the bottom of the 7th. The Canadian national team member, Justin Schofield, who absolutely just loves to talk about this sport and the science of pitching. Loves it. I'm not sure Jeff Lewis loved that.
I think he's happy it was a changeup.
And happy it didn't strike him. Did we find a final line on Marco Diaz by any chance?
6 hits. I had 4 walks at last check.
I think that's what I have in 12 strikeouts.
But 10 base runners.
Mm-hmm.
And then dodging around that by way of the 12 strikeouts.
And some great defense. Schofield falls behind, and that is a strike.
And again, those tuning in, wondering where the JDT Bear Creek Express game might be, we'll bring that to you right at the conclusion of this one. Give us about 20 minutes to get the field turned around.
Up and in with another high rise with lots on it. Is the count even to Jeff Lewis, who is 0 for 3 in the game. He's grounded out and then struck out a couple of times against Marco Diaz. And there seems to be a lot of cheering in behind me.
Well, a big 3-run home run for the Georgian Bay Giants as they're looking to avenge a Game 1 loss to the Lacey A's way back on Saturday afternoon. They're out in front now 6-1, and that's in the 7th in ISC 2 winner bracket action.
They are elated over there. Could hear them in Duluth.
And Joe, that might have actually been a grand slam. We should find out who hit that one. That may have been a grand slam. We may want to check who hit that.
Schofield, Blake Hunter, nicely done. Again, showing off the glove work at third base. Blake Hunter arranging into the hole. And there's 2 away in the bottom of the 7th. Nice defensive effort. 1 error for the Chiefs tonight, but have more than made up for it with other terrific defensive efforts. That was a good one, too. So Jaden Stratford looks to keep it alive. He's been on base all 3 times. He's singled, walked, and reached on that lone error made by the Chiefs. Schofield has got the big old grunt going tonight.
Yeah, he has.
Throws every pitch like it's his last. And every time I say it, and I say it often, it is meant with the absolute utmost respect. He gives you everything he's got. Ooh, and boy, did he have some heat and movement on that game-ending strikeout, as there is just the second 1-2-3 inning we had in the whole game. The Hill United Chiefs, in a game that the score really didn't reflect, but they take care of business as they've moved in to a Thursday evening winners bracket quarterfinal game, or semifinal.
The score certainly does not tell the whole tale. Here is the story of this one. A real competitive ball game. Hill United Chiefs took advantage of every opportunity presented to them. Fargo Kegel Black Knights, 10 runners left on base. They're going to go to bed wondering what if.
Great job, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll be back in about 20-25 minutes with another great game slated. JDT First Energy and the Bear Creek Express in another winner's bracket quarterfinal. So long for now from Mankato.
Called strike 3, the outside corner. They work out of that.
Yeah.
High in the air, Viavazo comes to get it, and the Chiefs are back to the top of the mountain. The gloves fly. The celebration is underway.